Hey, everybody. Sorry we're a little bit late today, just a little bit. We were having some problems with some of the technology, getting our guests logged in and all, but we're all in place with our faces smiling. I'm Irving Fryer. I'm the host here at the Fryer Place, where the conversations are fire. We have a great show for you today. Our guest, who wasn't able to make it with us last week, he's with us today. Yes, Hall of Famer, wide receiver, Andre Reed. Before we don't come on yet, Andre. But before we bring him on, I got some highlights for you. I want to do my shout outs as I always do. Shout out to Alicia Way for these dope overlays. I keep saying dope overlays. I like them. They're nice overlays. They're really, really animated. But thank you, Alicia Way. Lou Rogers, Vision Audio Visual. He's our videographer. We want to thank the Green Legion. Yeah. We're going to be at the Crab du Jour next Thursday with the Green Legion doing a pregame analysis for the Eagles game. I'll be with the Green Legion in Delran, New Jersey. If you're here locally in New Jersey and you're somewhere near Delran, the Crab du Jour right on Route 130, I'll be live with the Green Legion. The Green Legion does a great job of helping promote the Fryer Place. We'll be with them next Thursday. I think it's 7:00 p.m. No, actually, yeah, I think we start at 6. I'm sorry, 6:00 p.m. We'll be there at the Crab du Jour. So stop by to see us live. We're going to do a pregame analysis of the Eagles' home opener against the Atlanta Falcons down in Atlanta. Also, just in case you don't know or didn't know, this podcast is being brought to you by Ecamm, virtual software made for Mac that carries your message across the world. Now, just in case some of you young folk have never seen my guest today play, he was an awesome NFL Hall of Famer. Obviously, he was an awesome NFL wide receiver. They called him Mr. Yak, YAC, yards after catch. Yes, so when he would catch the ball, he would do some incredible things. So check him out. Now, the video is a little bit, it's a little bit, I guess you could say, grainy, because when we played ball, they didn't have HD and all that kind of stuff. So just sit back and enjoy it. Watch this. There he is, my man, Andre
I
Reed.
made it. I made it.
Yeah, he made it. He made it. Listen, those of you who are watching, put something in the comments. Let us know you're here. Any questions you might have for Andre after we're talking for a while, we're going to throw up on the screen and we're going to all address it. But that's my man right there. 16 years in the NFL, 951 catches, over 13,000 yards, 87 touchdowns, inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2014. That's the man right there. That is the man. Good to have you on the show, bro. Good to have you on the show.
It's great to be here. I know we had some difficulties. Technically, you know how it is. We're not tech savvy.
You old school like
I'm,
me.
I'm very yeah. I'm very humbled to be on your show. You do a great job. Not only do I respect you as a football player, but more as a person. And you are. I love the graphics. I love the music and the dancing. I don't know. You probably get laughed at now about the dancing.
Well, that's okay.
If you had to do a touchdown dance, all these kids now they make up their own stuff and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like you said, I'm surprised we didn't see any black and white, video.
Well, listen, when we came into the league, we watched the film on Reel to Reel.
Reel to Reel.
Yeah, because you actually came in the league the year after me. You came in '85. I came in '84.
Yep.
So we were watching film on Reel to Reel. How things have transformed over the years is just simply amazing. It's simply amazing, man.
And if the reel to reel broke, you don't see that film. You gotta try to
splice it together. Yeah.
You just hope it's not at a play where they can go, oh, okay.
Right.
Like, well, we didn't get that one. So, but it's great to be here, man. I'm very humbled to be here. Thank you for having me. Again, you do a great job, and I've known you for years. I've known you for 20, 30 years. How many years? I don't know. We can't.
Since we played ball.
I've known you for a long time.
Yeah.
And a quick story. Not only did I play against you when you were with the Dolphins, actually in the Patriots too, maybe the first year when I was in the league, but I got to be your teammate, for a year there in Washington.
Yeah, that was fun.
And the Washington, should we say it? Or should we say the Washington football team?
No, we were the Washington Redskins back then.
We were the Washington Redskins back then. Yeah. And if people don't realize that at that time, I had retired after that year, after 16 seasons. I wouldn't say it was at a crossroads. We dot every I, cross every T in our careers. We're lucky enough to play a year in the NFL, but to play as long as we did,
right?
I think we were blessed. We were blessed by the man upstairs to be able to play that long and to be able to play on the teams that we played on. So it was great to be your teammate. You taught me a lot about the game, not only about the game, but about life. And that's just kudos to you, man.
Man, what did I teach you? I was learning from you.
Well, we can talk about that off camera, bro.
Yeah, I taught you what not. I did teach you what not to do. That's what I taught you.
Exactly.
So you're in California right now. We thank you for getting up early and being with us. What are you doing right now? Do you still have your foundation? Do you still work with the Boys and Girls Club?
Yes, that's a great question. Actually, I have that on my notes. I do have notes for.
What do you have notes for? Get them out of here, man. This is my show. You're not interviewing me. I'm interviewing you.
Hey, it's the Fryer place, man. I got to be hot. I got to be ready to go. Yeah, I do. That's a great question, Irv, because as players, when we were players, we were selfish. Let's just face it. Mm-hmm. In a certain way, we were selfish. All we thought about was ourselves and what makes us happy at that time. And as you get older, you grow and you become unselfish, and you realize that what you did in the past can only enhance you and can only make you better in the future. And kids were my passion. Kids. I grew up as a Boys and Girls Club kid here in Allentown, Pennsylvania, for 10 years. They were a very important part of my life. They were a great foundation for me. I've adopted them. I'm in the Boys and Girls Club Alumni Hall of Fame also, and I go around the country speaking to different clubs across the country, all the way from Miami to Alaska. And I've been to 60 states, 35, actually 60 states, there's only 50, 60 Boys and Girls Club.
Uh-huh.
See, that's a lot of hits to the head, Irv. 60
I know.
Boys and Girls Club in 35 states. And, I started this program, the Andre Reed reading program with my girlfriend, Teresa. who's a Jersey girl. You know,
Yeah.
she's from Jersey,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
she's feisty. But I started this program 5, 6 years ago to inspire kids and tell them how important reading is to being successful in life. And as my name is Reed, that's why
Read with Reed.
it's Reed.
Yeah.
That's right, Read with Reed. And we have a program where the kids have to read a certain amount of books in a certain amount of time during the year. And the winners of the challenge, their books get tracked, chapter books, whatever, they get tracked, and through the Boys and Girls Clubs that I go in, and we take them to games, and we
Nice.
get them on the field. They get to meet their heroes. They get an experience of a game day experience of a lifetime, and we do. I think the biggest thing we do, that's great, but the biggest thing we do is we put reading rooms in Boys and Girls Clubs. We remake the room, and we make it a place for them. They can be anywhere they want to be, do anything they want to do, and they get inspired by the love of reading. And we say read 30 minutes a day because knowledge is power, and power is knowledge, and that's what we try to emphasize with the kids.
That's awesome because, today there's so much time spent on our smart devices, whether it's a tablet, whether it's a computer. We just, as in general, whether it's a teenager, a youth, or whether it's an adult, we don't spend much time reading anymore.
Right.
And for me, I don't like reading on a tablet or on the computer or on my cell phone. I need a book. I need to have the book in my hand so I can hold it and flip the pages and mark the book up. I write little comments in as I'm reading it to help me understand it. But that's awesome what you're doing, that literacy and making sure, yes, kids get their education, because if you can't read, you can't get an education. So it's important.
That's the foundation.
Yeah, that's the foundation of the education. Yeah, that's the foundation. So you're giving kids power. You're helping them understand, and they listen to you. They'll listen to you, having been a former NFL player, being a Hall of Famer. They'll listen to you before they'll listen to their parents. That's the kind of power.
Which is really crazy.
Hey, well, that's
when you think about it.
Yes.
Because you said it earlier that our whole life is on our phones, and we get our information from our phones. We get the way we think from our phones. We get the information we get either could be false or it could be true. We think differently. That's what a phone does. We came in the league, it was a beeper.
Right.
That's the only way you can find me. And if there was a phone around, you better have a quarter to put in there, because if you ain't got a quarter to put in there, you ain't gonna get me no matter what. So that's the way this whole world has evolved, and these kids nowadays are influenced by what they see on TV. Their heroes are their sports people. What they see on the LeBrons and the Steph Currys, and they want to see what they're doing, what they're saying, instead of realizing what's important to them when they go to school every day. And what they learn at home. Those are the foundations of what we call growing up.
Right.
And this world is a different world than it was 35, 40, 50 years ago, where it was so simple. It was hard, but it was simple. Go to school, do your homework, all that. That was part of it. But now it's go to school, and then all these other things come into play that can get into you going to school and doing your homework and doing all that. So my program emphasizes the value and what it means to the kids in their life after as they're growing up. And I go all the way from 6 years old to 16 years old. I was a club kid for 10 years.
Nice.
And I was there every day.
Nice.
They turned the lights out. Matter of fact, I turned the lights out.
That's great. That's great. I don't think these kids
kid to leave. Yeah.
I don't think these kids know what a rotary phone is or a pay phone is. They don't even have
or
pay
the phone
phones
that's
anymore.
on the wall.
On the wall. Yeah. Or the one that has one. I lived in the house. There was 5 of us in the house. My 3 sisters, my mother, and my father. We had one phone, and the cord ran from the phone into the wall, and we all used one phone and managed to do pretty well. It was okay.
Sitting there waiting for a minute on the phone, and as the days and months go by, that cord got a little longer.
A little longer, yeah.
The elasticity of the phone, because it's just stretched to beyond. But believe it or not, Herb, that really taught us a lot about life, and it taught us about where we're at right now in our lives. As former athletes,
that's nice.
We are under a microscope. The athletes now are so much under a microscope. Everything they do, everything they say, Every move they make is documented.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys have to be so careful about making the wrong move because it could cost them not only money and all that, but it can cost them reputation. It could cost them all that stuff. And it's imperative for these guys, especially if they've been in the league for a long time, they played along, to teach these young guys when they come to the league, it isn't all about you. It
Right.
never was all about you.
Right. Right.
It's what you're doing, how you take your job. Do you take your job serious enough to not only make an impact on the field, but to impact somebody else? And then when you're done, that's when it all comes to fruition. That's when it's all at the top.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You, as you mentioned earlier, from Allentown, went to a small college, Kutztown.
Kutztown, yes.
Yeah, in Pennsylvania.
Cal tipped, bro.
Drafted in the 4th round. Awesome, from a small school like that. What is talking to the youth, talking to a young football player who's coming up in high school, who's dealing with COVID and not really getting the exposure that they normally get during football season. He's probably going to go to a small school like that, but he has aspirations of playing in the big time. What is your word of advice? Because you did it. What is your word? What would you tell some young man who's watching right now? What advice would you give him in regards to how you did it?
The word patience. Patience is a virtue, and let's face it, not most of us got patience.
Right.
And God teaches us about patience and being able to be a patient person. It's a lot different now than it was when I came out of the league. When I came to the league in '85, the Division II small school guy wasn't. You didn't see that many of those guys on rosters.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you go down to rosters right now in this league, you will find D1, definitely D1 guys, but you'll find many D2, 1AA, Division III guys that are not only impactful players, but have been there a long time to make their teams better.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Patriots got a lot of guys like that. And you can just go down the line with the 32 teams and look at rosters and see where they came from.
Right.
So I think that myth has definitely been squashed. I'm not going to say that I was the guy, or Jerry Rice was 1AA, Mississippi Valley State, that we were the guys that kind of, turned that upside down as far as small schools guys. But if you get a chance, it doesn't matter if you go to Division IX school. It doesn't matter.
Right.
I mean, we might not know where that is,
right,
but nobody knew where Kutztown was either. So, and I reiterated before, it was a cow tipping town.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to go cow tipping. Herb, can you imagine if you had YouTube and seen a bunch of brothers cow tipping?
Well, I know something about cow tipping. I went to college in Nebraska, so
that's right. Well, yeah, you're right.
We did a little cow tipping too.
And that was like every day in Nebraska.
Yeah, that was it was new to me. It was a culture shock when I went there and started school and stayed there for 4 years. But yeah, we had Angus cows and we went out and we did cow tipping. So I know exactly what you're talking about. I hadn't grown up with it, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
You take a bunch of kids from Philly in the inner city, go cow tipping. The only cow they saw was like in the grocery store when they're taking it out of there.
Yeah,
that's about it. But it was a great experience for me. I was a homebody guy. Family was very important to me.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed. I was a homebody. I was very young when I went to college. I was a young 18-year-old kid.
Mm-hmm.
In the mind, I was young,
mm-hmm.
and I didn't get recruited by big schools. Coming out of high school, I was a high school quarterback. And that's where I got, we ran the veer offense.
mm-hmm.
Back then they had the veer.
Right.
You played.
I played in the veer as well. Yes, veer.
Number 27. So watch number 27. Who's that Urban Fryer guy?
Wing back.
And yes, and that's what we ran. We ran that, and I could run with the ball. Anytime I got the ball in my hand, that was my forte.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got to Kutztown, it was like, well, we have a good quarterback here now. And he's a junior. So I would have had to wait 2 more years to play quarterback. And I wasn't the greatest of passers. I thought I was, but I know I wasn't. Us, we think we're good at everything.
We can do everything
and
well.
What changed my life and changed my direction course in sports was the offensive coordinator came up to me right before training camp started. And he said, have you ever played wide receiver before? And I said, yeah, in the park and, with my friends and with my brothers. And I should do the toe tap on the sideline there on the walkway.
Uh-huh.
He goes, well, we watched your film. We know you can run with the ball. We would love to try to get the ball in your hands as fast as we can and see what you can do with it. And I was like, that changed the course of my football career. And it was that just was only a godsend right there. Mm-hmm. And, big, they changed the course of how I went about playing football. And that, it was all written and done then.
Well, you heard me say earlier, you had a different way, a very unique way of escaping in traffic. I would stand on the sidelines and watch you and Kelly and Thurman Thomas and y'all just doing your thing. You had a very unique way of getting out of traffic. You had a very unique way. It was a very unique wiggle is what I call it. You weren't a blazing speedster, but you were known as the man that once you got the ball in his hands, who could get out of traffic and get extra yards after the catch. How did you develop that skill? I mean, and when did you figure out, okay, this is my game. This is what I can do. And they kind of built the offense around you to get you the ball quick so that you can get extra yards after the catch. How did that develop for you?
I just think it was playing in the park. Mm-hmm. It was playing in the park you'd go swimming all day and then you play football. You never got tired when you were little.
Right.
When you're 16, 15, you had energy. You had energy for 5 guys. And you could find me either swimming in a swimming pool or at that park with a football in my hand.
Wow.
And it was always, who's playing? Let's go. Who's playing? You got next? We got next? All that. Just like they do now. But now, again, that phone kind of takes them away from doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they're inside, not outside.
Yeah, so that's why I learned. It's not that I practice it, but just doing that day in and day out over summer. That's, if I did something bad, that they could find me because I was at the park playing. So that's why I learned a lot of that kind of escapability kind of thing, and then repetition. Mm-hmm. And then always, my brother was a defensive back in college. So I used to go up against him in the off season or like that. And he would help me with releases. And I'd start doing different releases because coming out of Kutztown during that time, there was no press really. Nobody really pressed you.
Right.
So that was the big thing on me. The knack was, can he get away from press? Mm-hmm. If somebody's really stout with him up right in his face, is he able to get into his pattern as fast as he, without anybody in front of you or somebody that's off. So I had to work on that. So all the little small things I had to do coming out of a small college, I really focused on at that park. And I got better. And then it was up to me once I got to camp, when I got drafted, can I do it against better competition? Right.
It's and I understand that too. I guess we have a lot more in common than I thought. Because when I came out of Nebraska, I came from a 3-point stance in a wingback position in the slot. And even when I was split out, I was in a 3-point stance. Yeah. So when I came to the NFL, I'm standing up and I got a guy in front of me. I had never did any kind of escapes from bump and run. I never was in a position like that before. So my first even 3 or 4 years was all athletic ability. I had to learn how to grow in that position, from standing and having someone in front of you and then escaping, getting into the route, manipulating the guy, and then creating separation so you can get open and catch the ball. So it was.
Yeah, we all could run fast. I mean, I just outran everybody.
Right.
In college.
But then
my last name's Reed. If it's spelled backwards, it's Deer.
Okay, all right. I like that.
You like that?
I like that. Yeah, I like that. And you're right. But I did the same thing. I just outran everybody. But then when you get to the pros, there are people who can run just as fast as you. So you gotta develop.
Not faster.
Yeah, you got to develop your skill. You have to develop your skill. I know people ask you this question all the time. We have Jamie Hollenbach. Hello. Have a great show. Thank you, Jamie. Jamie logged in and she said hello. Shout out to you, Jamie. I know people ask you this question all the time, Andre. I've never asked you this question, but I'm getting ready to ask you this question.
Oh, boy.
Because I'm going to talk about the 4 Super Bowls.
Of course, and
You
that's part
guys,
of my history.
yeah, you guys went to 4. People don't realize how hard it is, first of all, to get to 1 Super Bowl. You all went to 4 Super Bowls in a row, okay? In a row. That's a dynasty in itself, okay? That's an accomplishment in itself. That's almost like winning the Super Bowl. You get there 4 seasons in a row. And unfortunately, and it had to be frustrating, you lost all 4 Super Bowls. Yeah. What was that? What was going on with that? What was that like? How did you deal with that? Particularly when you got there like the 3rd year and you lost, and then you got there the 4th year and you lost again. Man, how did you guys how did you shake that off?
You know, Irv, I think God gives you opportunity, and we have to take advantage of what opportunity is. We had the opportunity to win a championship, and our opportunity, we didn't do it. Okay, so be it. What do we learn from it? And I think if you talk to every single person on that team, you could see there's a lesson to be learned from not only losing, but how do you come back and how do you get all what got you there and all the work you did? How does that, how do you incorporate that into life?
Mm-hmm.
And I think every person on that team during those 4 years, they talk about that because it's done something in their lives. And yes, would it have been great to win one? Yeah. You know, I got a Hall of Fame ring. I got the 4 AFC championship rings, whatever. But that's the ultimate goal for NFL players, to win a Super Bowl. And it didn't happen. Okay. There's a lot of players that have played in this league that have never been to a playoff game. They may play 10 years, never played in a playoff game. So I think for everything that is given to you and the opportunity is given to you, something else predestines it. There's something else that happens before it. So I don't think that I'm a loser because of that. And I think the first probably 5 years of after I retired, it was always embedded in my mind. And now that it's been 25 plus years, that it still hurts, but not as much as it used to. And I think people, fans and people that have seen our teams during those years, they really realize, like you said, not only how hard it is, but it'll never be done again. I just don't see it being done because of the way the league is now. So I just don't see it being done. And I was a part of some great players, playing with great players, Bruce Smith, Thurman Thomas, Hall of Famers, Jim Kelly, Hall of Fame coach. I can go on and on. I mean, Irv, you know, these guys were great players and great guys. So I was humbled to be in their presence and to be able to play with them. So the 4 Super Bowls, as time goes on and on and on, you forget those.
Right.
But
right.
I will never forget the guys that I played with, and never forget that journey. And that's what life is. Life is a journey. It's how you make that journey.
Mm-hmm. And to me, I mean, because in the 4 Super Bowls, you didn't play the same team all 4 Super Bowls. You played
except Dallas
twice. Yeah, the last 2.
Yeah.
So you guys were the best team in that frame of time.
We were the best team. We just
you just didn't win. You just didn't win, but you guys were the best team in the league at that time because you went to the ultimate game. The reason why we play every season, the reason why we try to win games every week, to get to the Super Bowl, and you did that 4 years in a row. So, yeah, kudos to you, man. Hats off to you. And
again, we talk about the guys that played in this league a long time, like you and Eric Dickerson,
yep,
and all these guys. We can go on and on with players that are great players that never get a chance. They don't get there.
Yeah. And it's
tough. There's the other side of that coin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we always want to turn the coin on one side and kind of look at that side and go, yeah,
right.
But there is a bottom to it too.
Yeah. We have a propensity to look at the negative side of it.
Yeah, and that's just the way our world is. Our world is about positive. But they don't realize what the negative builds.
Right.
It builds a lot of stuff.
Strain builds strength. Struggle builds strength. Jamie Hollenbach said, thank you. She said shepherd's pie. She's part of the Green Legion that I was mentioning earlier. She said, see you next Thursday.
Tell her I had shepherd's. My mom used to
I love shepherd's pie. Yeah. When they say shepherd's pie, I scream, ah! I love shepherd's pie. My wife makes a great shepherd's pie.
I'd be like, not tonight. I don't want that tonight.
I love shepherd's pie. Listen, Hall of Fame. How did that change your life, man? You're HOF. You're in the Hall of Fame in the NFL. You talk about the Super Bowl. Yes, that's the ultimate goal. while we're playing. But then the ultimate honor is the Hall of Fame, because that's an
Yeah.
individual honor, that it's not necessarily a team thing. Yes, our teammates do have something to do with it, particularly if we're wide receivers. If we don't have a
Of
decent
course.
quarterback, you ain't never getting to the Hall of
You
Fame.
getting that, you getting the Hall of Shame.
Hall of
Literally.
Shame. Yeah. So how did that change your life, man? How did Hall of Fame? And that question is for me again, because I want to know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure this thing out, man.
You know, Herb, I in a way, and I'm gonna be humble about this one. The first, probably, I've been at 7 years now. So I think the first 2 years it changed me in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And the only time it really changes me now is when I go to the hall and see all the other guys. Um, this past year, a couple weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, a month ago, it was a centennial class. Harold Carmichael got in. We talked about that yesterday. Uh, to see 100 gold jackets all in one place, that's really what it's about. Because these are the 100 living best players that ever played a game. And when you get in that room, you're a different person. And it isn't like you act differently, because when you're with those guys, you're the same just like anybody else. Hey, Herb, hold on 1 second. I'm going to change. I got to get a charger so my phone don't go out real quick.
His phone's going to go out. Okay, I'm going to. Isn't that special? Let me know when you come back, Andre. He's
I'm back right now.
you back? Okay.
I just got to get some more power.
He want to get some more power so he doesn't go out on us.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Look, we didn't have that problem with phones. We couldn't see you, but we didn't have that problem with phones back in the day.
So to continue with that, I think it's it's humbling. I think every year I go, just to talk to different guys and talk about their journey and their experience and what it means to them.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me feel good, and to see all those guys every year, and we have lost many guys over the past year or 2 or 7 years, especially last year because of COVID. You just never know when you go back if you're going to see those guys again. So there's no doubt it's fun going there. It's fun seeing the guys. And changing me, I just don't think it really has changed me that much. Like I said, maybe the first couple of years it's changed me because as a 15-year-old, I never thought that if somebody sat me down and said, one day you're going to be in the Hall of Fame of the National Football League.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be like, well, that's like jumping out of a plane with no parachute and living. That's not going to happen. So I think as the years go on, it gets it's just a different feeling every single year as it goes on. And it's the new classes that come in. You tell them about your experience when you got inducted and your Hall of Fame experience for your induction ceremony. Having your mom there and having your family. That's really what it's about. My mom and my whole family was there. My dad, unfortunately, wasn't there. He passed away in '96. So you think about the times as a little kid, the first time you put the helmet on and the last time you took it off. And then all that stuff in between, who inspired you, what player said something to you, what coach said something to you. That's all the things that you remember
Right.
About the game of football and where it took you.
Well, it's special, man. Every time I don't sit and watch all the inductions, but people that I know, like yourself, I will sit and watch and listen to the speeches and try to enjoy the moment. I can't do it as much as you all do because it's actually happening to you, but try to enjoy the moment because, I was there watching you. I was there on the field. I was there competing against you. And so I have a front row seat in terms of knowing exactly your talent and having experienced it from the other side.
Yeah. And I just want all the viewers to know, and this is for me, and we talked about this yesterday, getting inducted to the Hall of Fame is a process. And I realized that after it took me 7-8 years to be picked to be in the Hall. And there's no doubt about it. There's so many deserving guys that deserve to be there that have impacted the game, not only on the field, but what they're doing off the field, they're impacting the game. And the guy I'm talking to right now, Definitely deserves to be there, and I've lobbied for him, and I'm still going to lobby for him. He deserves to be there, and that's Urban Fryer, and I watched you in college. Um, I took notes from you my first year in the league, and I just want you to know that you inspired me as a player, and you definitely deserve to be there. So, again, patience, brother. Patience is a virtue.
Well, let me do this about your speech right
He's
there.
like, how much patience do I got? So
And we do a hand clap. Yeah, how much patience? I'm just patient, and I'm my mindset. And people say the same thing. You should be in the Hall of Fame, Irving. I see guys who are inducted into a Hall of Fame whose numbers are not as good as my numbers. So that gives me hope. But like you said, patience. But I also, in the back of my mind, that's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. But
But you got, I just want you to know, you got a cheerleader over
when
here,
I got
brother.
people lobbying for me, yeah, I got someone who's there who's trying to
Yep.
pull the trigger for me. All right, there is hope. We'll keep hope alive.
Hey, I got them like this, bro. They're in my crosshairs right now. They know.
All right, we'll keep hope alive. 2000. I'm going somewhere with this. We talked about this yesterday too, and I'm going to show the highlight. This is going to change the whole. This is going to give everybody
Narrative.
a paradigm shift right now. We're getting ready to change the whole tempo, the whole temperature of this interview, of this podcast. 2017, something really, really special happened to you. You were baptized in the Jordan River. You were in Israel, and you were in the Jordan River, and you were baptized. I have the clip showing you being baptized. I'm going to show that real quick, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about it. All right? Watch this.
Got it.
Dear Andre, do you believe with all your heart that Jesus Christ is the Son of God? You believe in Trinity God is one, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. You believe that Jesus loved you so much and he died on the cross for you. Through the blood of Jesus Christ, you will see forgiveness and eternal life. According to your professional faith and baptism, I'm going to baptize you in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Hallelujah. Amen. Amen.
Man, I get every time I watch that, I've watched it like 7 times since you sent that to me. I get goosebumps every time I watch it. Tell us about that.
I'm getting chills now every time I watch that. If people really took a good look at me during that time before I went into the water, I changed that quick. From the minute I went into that water to when I came out, I was a different person that quick. And Irv, they say in the game of football, in some game, some sports, that it takes one play to change the complexity of a game. That took one dip to change the complexity of me as a person. First of all my sins were washed away. And to be over there and do it with, I'm getting ready to break down here. To do it with
I got you, man.
17 other players.
Hold it together. Hold it together.
I'm holding it together. To do it with 17 other players, Hall of Famers, and it was, and to see those guys do it. This is all because of the game of football, brother. A kid's game took me to Israel, to the most holiest place on the planet. At one point, the center of the earth, still is the center of the earth. The game of football took me there and changed my life, because I was not a good person before I went over there. And that's a fact. I want all the viewers to know. I needed some help, because I was going down a bad hole, a rabbit hole. And when I got that opportunity to go there, 2 to 3 weeks before there, I studied not only the Bible, but I studied about all the places we were going to go to. So if I had questions, I knew what I was talking about. And, going to places like, and as everybody saw, the Jordan River. This is where Jesus got baptized by John the Baptist. I went to Masada, where the Jewish revolt happened, and they stood strong against the Romans. I went to the city of David, where this is where it all started, Solomon. I went to Capernaum and the Sea of Galilee, where Jesus taught, walked on water, fed the 5,000. I went to the Dead Sea and floated. And amongst other things that we did just walking around, just under my feet, I knew I was in a different place. And I knew I was not in Philadelphia or in San Diego or in LA. It's just a different place. Every tree looked different. Every brick looked different. And I kind of reverted back to all when I was a little kid, going to vacation Bible school and we talked about this yesterday, going downstairs and they give you a little pamphlet, and this is the lesson that we want to teach today in Bible school. And all that stuff came and just like flashed before me. And it all because of the game of football took me there. So changed my life, no doubt about it. I was a very selfish, not humble person. Again, I was going down a rabbit hole that I might not have came out of. And I think, God's sovereign. He's forgiving. He's love. And that's where I found it. So if anybody has a chance to go to Israel, to do that and see all those holy sites, please do, because it'll change your life. And you become unselfish instead of selfish. And one thing about being over there, the minute that we got off that plane and I touched that ground, to me that was holy ground. And I remember that the rest of my life.
Wow. You're gonna make me go. I thought I did something when I went fishing in Alaska, but I gotta get over there to Israel, man, and experience that. I've heard numerous times that it's life changing, and I can tell. I have a hard time thinking about Andre Reed, though, a cat that was making a bunch of bad decisions and bad choices. Man, you were always cool in my eyes. I don't know that side. I don't know that guy. I don't know that guy.
But I'm just saying, we all like to put on, we put on a different face. We
Right,
all do.
right.
But when you look in the mirror every morning, you can't lie to that guy.
Right. That's right.
You can lie to everybody else and do what you want to do, but you can't lie to the guy in the mirror. And I was doing that. I was lying to myself and believing myself.
Right.
And when I went over there, I couldn't lie. You can't lie. You can't go over there and fake it.
No.
You come back a different person. And do I still have a journey? We all have journey in Christ. We all gotta to be like him. It's constant. It's constant reading the Bible and doing all of those. That's where we all have to be better at. There's no doubt about it.
You preaching, man.
But,
you preaching, man.
but just getting on the right path, man, is what he wants you to do. He wants you to get on his path.
Right.
And then bring everybody else with you.
Right. Bring the folk with you. People will look at NFL players today and look at the fact that we played in the past, and they think they kind of put professional athletes in a box, and like we live in a place that is not necessarily real, and everything is honky-dory, and the sun is always shining, and everything's always good. Why? Because we have popularity, there's money, there's doors that open for us, like you said, because of the game that we play, the job that we have. But life for us is the same as it is for everyone else. We have ups and downs and challenges and friction and frustration and breakups and all that kind of stuff happens in our lives too. What are some of the challenges that you've had to deal with, if you don't mind telling us, some of the challenges that you've had to deal with, that you've had to overcome, and you have overcome, and that's why you're here today?
Well, my family background was not the greatest. I had an alcoholic dad, interracial family. So as a high schooler, as a middle schooler or junior high school back in the day, now it's middle school. We went to junior high school. Um, as a kid in elementary school, I got bullied because my brothers were white. My dad was black. My mom was white. So all these things really, I remember that impacted me growing up. And, to this day, they have not only built the bricks that I stand on, but I'm able to teach that to others and other kids. So there is a lesson to be learned in everything you do in life. And it's up to you to embrace it and give it to somebody else, that lesson. And I had to find that out. And was it hard? Of course. Everything we do in life is just not running through the park and picking flowers. Sometimes we pick the good flowers. Sometimes we pick the ones that are, we think are going to live and they die. So we have to choose. And I tell kids now, you're only as good as a person around you. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. That's really important to kids in life, because we have a lot of influences outside of the household. And sometimes the household isn't the greatest household. But as long as you got that 4-letter word, love, in the household, you can get through anything. You can get through anything. And that's what I teach these kids, is that love yourself, and then you give that love back to somebody else. So, my childhood, I use it as a stepping stone. And when I tell kids, I didn't come from the greatest. I had great athletic ability, but how many people do we know, Herb, that had great athletic ability, and you say, man, that dude right there, and then you go, where'd he go?
Yeah, a whole bunch.
What happened to him?
Yeah.
That's 1 out of every 5 guys that we see.
Yeah.
And that's in every sport. That transcends sport. So how do you keep those other 4, or that guy? How do you keep him? How do you get him? And that's people like us, inspiring and saying, hey, I came from this. This is how I did it. And not bragging about it, but this is how I did it. And that's that's kind of what I do. And I'm very proud to see some kid 10 years from now be in college or just finished college or whatever, and say, hey man, I remember what you said to me in your program. Right. I was in your reading program at this Boys and Girls Club in Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. It's great to hear that.
And that's what it's about.
Right. We're going to shift. Let's get current now. I know you're all the way in California. I don't know why. I don't know what moved you. I don't know what in the world you were thinking when you moved out there. I don't know why you're out there. I really don't know. I don't understand.
Hey, San Diego, bro, it's God's country, man.
That's what they say. But I just, I really don't want to stay in New Jersey, but I would never move to California either. Anyway, are you still a Buffalo Bills fan?
I definitely am. I bleed red, white, and blue.
Okay. All right. So do you have any predictions for them this year?
Irv, I never was a big predict guy, but just by the way, when somebody say, hey, what do you think they're going to do this year?
Right.
I go, well, they're one injury away from doing what I didn't think they were going to do. So, right?
Why does everybody play it safe? We come up with these analogies and these.
Okay, Irv, since I'm on your show,
okay,
this is the Friar Place.
Give me. I mean, either they're gonna be okay or they're not gonna be okay.
No, they're gonna be good.
Yeah,
they're gonna be good.
Yeah.
That quarterback, Josh Allen, has taken his game to the next level.
I like him too. He's a big cat. He's a big guy, isn't he?
Big cat.
Yeah, he's a big.
Yeah, he's a big kid. Strong arm.
Yeah.
Is really made for that weather in Buffalo. He went to Wyoming, so he had some crazy weather in Wyoming.
Right.
And his first 2 years, he had to figure it out. And who doesn't have to figure out at any position the first 2 years?
Right.
But the quarterback position, you don't have a good quarterback in this league. Nah. Sorry, I don't care how good your defense is. They're going to get tired sooner or later.
That's right. Right.
You got to score points.
That's what everybody does these days. They look at the quarterback. When it comes to teams playing one another, they look at the quarterback first. Which team has a better quarterback? Which team has a more capable quarterback? Which team has a more productive quarterback? That team, because of the quarterback, has a better chance of winning. Period. They start with the quarterback because we throw the
Very.
ball. They throw the ball so much now.
Yeah, I mean, my best year was 92 catches. They got tight ends that are catching 130 balls.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. My best year was 88 catches, and yeah, they have cats.
That's
catching.
a career year for both of us.
Yeah. It take me 2 years to catch 150 balls.
So if you look at the way the league is, and I said this yesterday, it's more analytic than it's ever been. So it's always been about what can you do to stop me? How can I be more efficient to beat you?
Mm-hmm.
That's the game they're playing. So I'm just going to get 3 fast guys out there,
Right.
and you're going to have to cover them.
I'm
I'm going to get a quarterback that's mobile, that can make crazy throws, that can throw balls when he's going down and throws horizontal, can throw balls without looking. That's what I need a quarterback.
Well, and
That's
he's
what
got to be able. He has to be football. He has to have a high football IQ.
He has a football IQ.
Yeah, he's got to be able to recognize defenses
Right.
When they're trying to show him one thing, but they're really running something else. So he's got to
gotta
be efficient in that area, not just athletic ability, because we have some athletes who are quarterbacks in the NFL who are great athletes, extremely great athletes, but their football IQ is not quite where it needs to be with regards to recognizing defenses. And they put so much responsibility in the hands of the quarterback now. My first 9 years, I was telling you this yesterday, my first 9 years in the league in New England, we never changed a play at the line of scrimmage. If we called a play in the huddle, and that's just the way we ran football. We were still old school when things were starting to change and metamorphosis was taking place in the NFL, and it was moving from run the ball first and set up the pass to pass the ball first and then pass the ball second and pass the ball third. and fullbacks don't even exist anymore.
If it's 3rd and 1, we might hand it off. But if you got Tyreek Hill, he runs a little 3-yard out. It's first down.
That cat runs like his hair is on fire.
Yeah.
He is faster than a hiccup. It's unbelievable how fast that cat is. And what makes him even better and more of a threat is usually guys who are that fast aren't as good as him. There's something that's a weak spot in their game, meaning they don't run good routes because they run too fast. They don't know how to control their speed, or they can't catch the ball very well, or they don't recognize defenses the way they're supposed to recognize it on the run. He does all that well. He catches the ball extremely well.
If Tyreek Hill was like 6'1" and that fast,
it'd be a wrap.
It's a wrap. Yeah.
It's a wrap. He's the best he'd be the best in the league.
But being shorter, and he could stop on a dime and give you 5 pennies and a nickel.
Yeah.
And then keep going at the same speed and then pick up speed, because it seems like shorter guys, when they're running that fast, they look faster. Shorter guys.
Because they're taking more steps because their legs are shorter.
Yeah. It's like the old cartoons. That's it.
The Flintstones.
Yeah, but I think getting back to, how offenses are now, I think if you look at I would say probably late 80s, early 90s is when the game really became, put the 3 guys out there, get me a tight end that can not only stretch the field, but he's good for 80 catches. Travis Kelce and Kittle, and now Darren Waller and all these other guys that are playing in the league now. I can't wait to see Kyle Pitts, with Atlanta. This kid's a freak of nature, to see what he can do this year.
Mm-hmm.
These tight ends really are 75% of their offense because they're great pass catchers. And it's not that they're not great blockers, but when you have a team with a Tyreek Hill and Hardman and, the guys in Kansas City, you got to have a tight end that can catch the ball.
Right.
Because sooner or later they're going to double team, and you got to have some kind of outlet to throw the ball, and that's what Travis Kelce does. So it's a different game, Irv. There's no doubt about it. It's a different game. Defenses now, are they the same? No, they got to have fast linebackers that can cover space.
Yeah, we were born too soon, man. We were born about.
But you know what? We really weren't born. We weren't born too soon, because
yes, we were.
all these guys right now We are the
Okay, I know where you're
we
going
are
with
the
this.
blueprint.
Yeah, I
We're
know
the
where you're going.
blueprint of all these guys right now.
Yeah, yeah. It's there's a different flavor now. There's a different temperature now when it comes to professional sports, particularly when you talk about the NFL. It's different. I wouldn't say it's worse. I wouldn't say that we were better. It's just different. It's the way it is right now. And look, more power to them. They're making a whole lot of money, and they're trying to make the game safer so that you don't have ringing in your ears like I do now when you retire.
Welcome to the club, bro.
I have this ringing in my ears at night. I only hear it. You only hear it when things are quiet. When I'm talking or something's going on, you really don't hear it. But when things get quiet, man, I hear this. And I tell my wife, "You hear that? You hear that?" she goes, "What?"
Hey.
I'm like, "You don't hear that?"
Hey, Irv, all that is just ghosts of the past.
Yeah, ghosts of the past. Yeah, the concussions from the past. Yeah, you're right.
I you know what? And you segue into this with the concussions. When we came in the league, did they care? They might have, but they really didn't care about it.
No, they didn't. Because listen, the
actually
mindset was this, Andre, and correct me if I'm wrong. First of all, if you didn't play hurt, then you were letting your teammates down. You weren't a tough guy. You weren't a real football player, and you were soft if you didn't play hurt. If you got a concussion and didn't go back out there, okay, if you got dinged, you go out for a play, you get your butt back out there because that's what football players did. And I'm a real football player. I'm a tough guy. So no, they didn't care. Did they not caring mean that they did not know? Maybe they were misinformed or uninformed about the dangers.
That's really what it was.
Yes, the dangers of
They didn't know the after effects and
Right.
the impact later down the road.
Right.
Which obviously has came out in the concussion stuff. Because sometimes I'm like, these guys go across the middle and they're reading a book with one hand and they're picking dandelions with the other.
Man, listen, defensive backs have to try to figure out how to hit an offensive player without getting a penalty. And there are oftentimes I see a defensive back will hurt himself trying not to get a penalty hitting an offensive player. And that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
And they don't even use good form.
No, we never did. We were taught to use our heads.
Now it's just hit him to try to either knock him down or impede his progress.
Man, you can go across the middle now. You can stretch. You can go across the middle.
Fundamentals of the game.
Don't even worry about it.
And I was talking to Ronnie Lott a couple months back, and we were talking about the way the game is. What would Ronnie Lott do? Ronnie Lott would be fine. He'd just give his check every day.
Yeah.
Every week, he'd be like, here's my check. Just take out as much as you need to.
Right. That's the way Ronnie was.
This is the way I play.
Yep.
This is the way I play. Steve Atwater. This is the way I play.
Steve Atwater was
John
a
Lynch,
giant.
who didn't care about himself.
Yeah.
This is the way I play.
Yeah. Those guys were reckless.
These guys, even the Pro Bowls. You remember playing the Pro Bowls? They were hitting.
Listen, Dale Carter tried to take my knee out in the Pro Bowl. We're in the Pro Bowl playing, and you catch a slant, grab me around top. We both go to the ground. Come on, dude. I mean, we're going to, be physical. That dude went straight. This cat went straight for my knee. Man, I tried to. It took me like 4 years to get him back, Andre, but I got him back. Yeah, it took me 4 years.
You look at the Pro Bowls, and these guys are making $68,000 if they win and 40 something if they lose. What do we make? We made
$4,000 or $5,000, $10,000, something like that.
$5,000
Yeah.
if you're lost, and $10,000 if you won.
Yeah.
So if you brought your whole family,
you better win.
Your whole check.
You better win, and if you win, you're still just breaking even.
You're breaking even. And we were actually playing. We were
right.
I remember one Pro Bowl. We were like losing, and we had to get a field goal. We had to make a field goal to win, and we're all on the sidelines like this. Yo, man. I brought my whole family, bro. I need that extra $5.
Yes, sir. Let's go get it.
You got to go get that.
And we're looking just like that. Hey, let's go get it.
Like this. You look at the kicker like,
come on, man. You drop that pass. Don't be dropping no passes. Let's go.
I'm going to drop you if you don't make this.
Right.
Bro. Come on
right.
now.
Listen, our hour is up, man. I want to give you the screen here for the last couple of minutes. And first of all, it was great talking to you. I got your number. When I called you, I didn't know if it was your number still because I had the number for quite a while, but you answered the phone, which was miraculous to me. It was a miracle sent from God. But I really do appreciate you coming on the show and talking with me and sharing your testimony and sharing your life, opening up, being honest with us. Before we go, I want to give you the screen. Just give people your message. What is it that you want people? What is it you want to tell people? What is it that you want people to know before we go off the air? All right, you got it.
I think you're only, what you do in life, you got to be held accountable to it. Good choice, you're going to get a good outcome. Bad choice, you're going to get a bad outcome. And we all go to the edge. We all, want to jump sometimes, but it's not bad jumping, but just make sure you have a parachute on your back. That would be good. But, your only injustice to yourself is when you're not trying. And I think we go through life and all the things we do, there's a circumstance to it. And like I said, it's a choice. And we have to deal with that, whatever it is. And you never know who's watching. You never know who's watching you. It could be your child. It could be another friend of yours. It could be something. But remember, there's a lesson to be taught. And, that lesson will go on forever. Your choice will be a lesson for somebody else. And again, I was a selfish person. We all are selfish in our own way. But people are watching. And always realize somebody's watching you and what you do. I have 2 kids, and I know how important they are to me, and they watch every move. One's in Spain, one lives here in California. They when I think they're not watching, they are, and I got to realize that, and I got to be a great example for them. So, be a good example, and everything will be cool if you're a good example and do the right thing. And we're not going to make the best choice all the time, but the lessons we make from them is going to inspire somebody else. So, just make good choices and be a good person. That's really what it's all about.
And you know what, Dre? Life is really that simple. We try to make it more complicated than what it really is, but life is a series of choices. Every day, all day, from the time we wake up till the time we go to sleep, we have to make choices. And as we make those choices, we need to try to make sure, do the best that we can to make the right choices, the best choices, the choices that are going to impact our lives in a positive way, and those who are connected to us, it will impact their lives in a positive way. Man, exactly. Awesome, bro. Great interview today.
Let me tell you, bro, thank you, man. Thanks for having me. I'm again, just like I said earlier, bro, I'm humbled to be on your show. You are always one of my favorite guys, just not as a player, but more as a person. And I'm glad we got it right. I finally got the technical difficulties. And
we're both old school.
I just want all the viewers to know, last week, I'm on California time. So when Irv told me 12, I thought 12 here.
Yeah, and see, I told everybody you had an emergency. So you just messed it up. I was trying to make you look good. I was trying to fluff it up and make you look good. Now you just told on yourself. But go ahead, tell on yourself. Go ahead. You messed it up.
I'm just going to tell the truth. The truth will set you free, Irv. I just want you to know.
It'll set you free, but you had an emergency. You woke up. You were late.
Well, again, thank you. Thanks for having me, man. I could do this. We could speak all day, man.
Yes, we can. And I am going to have you back on later on during the football season. So we'll talk about what's happening with the team. All that. Yeah, I know something's going to happen, particularly up in Buffalo. Whether they're going to the playoffs or whether somebody does something great or there's some kind of game that's a phenomenal game. And we'll be back in touch, and I'll have you back at the fireplace, man. Listen, real quick too, before you go, you said, and you mentioned, and I'm just bringing this up because you keep mentioning her, and she's so dear to your heart. You have a new girlfriend.
Yes. Well, I've been with her for 7 years now.
Okay.
And, actually, and I mentioned this to you before. If you know Pastor Miles McPherson.
Yes.
Here in San Diego, he's my pastor, and we do a little every Tuesday, and we do a little Bible study with a couple other, players, a couple other couples on Tuesdays. And Pastor's just waiting for us to say the word to get us married here.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
she She's a wonderful woman, man. She is a uh, vibrant. She's a Jersey girl, like I said before.
Can't beat that.
She actually she actually lived in Alaska
Oh, see
for
there?
10 years.
Yeah.
So I've been up there, been
Uh-huh.
up to Alaska. She's just she's a brand manager. She manages probably 30 guys in the league right now,
Mm-hmm.
and she's very connected with sports. She always been connected with sports, and she's just an awesome woman. And um, I'm really appreciative of her, of what she does, how hard she works. She's very stout at what she does, and it's not like one of them. Excuse me. That's not like one of them women you like her or you don't. She's like right in the middle.
Like right in the middle.
So yeah, she's right in the middle, and she tells it like it is. If she don't like you, she won't tell you. She'll just not talk to you.
Not talk.
That's
There you
it.
go. Hey.
But she's straight up front, and again, she does a great job with all her players and doing things and managing these guys left and right, and managing me. So she's the best.
Well, her life got better when she introduced you into her life. I know that for sure. You're a good man. You're a good man. Love you to pieces, bro. Love you to
Love you to
pieces.
pieces,
Always
man.
have, always had much respect for you, much love for you. Always admired how you carried yourself, how you always brought positivity to whatever environment you were in. And God bless you. We're going to continue to stay in touch, and we're going to have you back at the fireplace. All right, bro?
For sure, man. Let's
All
keep
right.
it on fire.
God bless you, bro. We'll see you later.
God bless.
All right.
You got it.
We want to thank Andre for being with us on the show today. We had a great conversation. Wasn't that conversation fire? Boy, that's what happens here at the fireplace. Yeah. Here at the fireplace, the conversations are hot. That's going to do it for us actually today. We're going to shout out Alicia Way, Lou Rogers, Vision Audio Visual, the Green Legion. Shout out to you. We'll be there Thursday at Crab de Shore in Delran, Thursday evening at 6 o'clock next Thursday, doing a pregame analysis of the Eagles' upcoming opening game with the Atlanta Falcons. And please don't forget, this podcast was brought to you by Ecamm, virtual software made for Mac that carries your message across the world. Next week, we'll be back, same time, same place, same purpose. Next week's guest, none other than Randall Cunningham. Those of you in the Philly area, I'm sure you want to interact with Randall. He started that whole thing out, running the ball, new black quarterbacks, one of the first black quarterbacks to really break open and do some of the things that he did statistically in the NFL. So next week's guest will be Randall Cunningham. Thank you, Jamie, for joining us. Thank you, Mother McGee, my mother. Thank you, Faith, for joining us. Sister Sally Davis, thanks for being with us today. Thank you very much. Great, she said, great show once again. Yes. Thank you all. Yes, Jamie, it was fire today. Thank you all for joining us here at the fireplace. We'll be back next week. Until then, God bless you.